Hi, welcome to From Broken to Blessed. I'm your host, Daisy Rogers, and I'm here today with MEG NIKOLAUS.
Yes, that's right.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, I keep...
No, you're right.
Now that I didn't want to mess it up,
I know.
I keep wanting to mix it up.
No, you're totally good. That's perfect.
Okay, tell us a little bit about you right now. You have a hair salon.
I do. I have a hair salon in Mesa, Arizona. We're starting our second location in Santan Valley, Queen Creek area, which is exciting. That just broke ground literally yesterday. And then
That is so exciting.
so
Oh my
exciting.
goodness.
It'll be so pretty once it's open. It's just been a headache, but we have that. And then I'm married. I've been married for 5 years, and I have 2 beautiful twin daughters at home that are 18 months. And
Are
that's
they identical?
fraternal.
Fraternal, okay.
Mhm.
Because they look very similar, but like slightly different.
Different hair colors, but they
Yes.
look like sisters. But
Uh-huh.
it's also kind of crazy because it's like copy paste, kind of one of my husband and one of me, which is crazy. But I called that in the womb. I told him, I was like, one's going to come out with like blonde hair, and one did come out with like dirty blonde hair,
That's crazy.
which is crazy. And then one looks, dark hair and everything.
I think
So,
that's the coolest thing, though, when twins are like that.
yeah, it kind of gives them their own personality. But that's like my life, just trying to business own and figuring out motherhood along the way. So it's exciting.
You're doing the whole thing.
It's fun.
The
It's a fun
mommy-
season of life.
Yeah.
One that I'm trying to like soak in. I'm sure you feel like that too.
Yeah. Especially because I'm done having kids. I'm like,
You're done.
yeah, done. Like,
What
Zach got
amazing
snipped.
feel-
Like,
oh, I
done.
didn't know that.
He got snipped when I was like 4 weeks postpartum.
Okay.
Because we're like, yeah, we're done.
I love that.
But now I'm like, oh my gosh, wait. Like,
This is your family.
hold on.
Everyone's here.
Yeah.
That's
Which is a
crazy.
cool feeling. But also, like, I worked so hard to try and get my toddlers on a schedule. Because I got 3 and 2. And he's barely 2. Like
3, 2, and
3 and under.
oh my goodness.
So I'm like working to try and get them on a new schedule that I felt like I was missing out. Or like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, you just like love the contact naps.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I really didn't get that this time around just because like
You're
I'm
busy.
doing stuff. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got stuff to do.
Yeah, you are busy.
But it's so fun.
It's a fun season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so, it goes, and it's sad that it goes so fast because I already can't believe they're 18 months old. I'm like, what do
Yeah.
you mean?
When I look back at pictures of like even Nelly and I'm like, you were so fetching cute. Before you got like bratty, you were so cute. What?
I know we're like entering like the terrible twos. I'm like, wait, they're 18 months.
You're like, oh no.
We're throwing tantrums, but it's so fun. I like don't even my personality. I'm like literally just sitting back. I'm like, let him cry. We're in Target today, full on tantrum on the floor.
That's good parenting.
What can you do?
That's good
People are
parenting.
staring at me. I'm like, I got 2. Like, what do you want me to do?
What do you want from me?
Can't wrestle them both.
Well, and you just pick your battles.
Yeah,
in
no, for
motherhood.
sure. For sure. You pick them.
And your motherhood journey's been a little different.
It has.
Than
It's
most.
been a journey to get here to this
Take us
point.
through that.
So let's start back. We'll start back at the beginning because I feel like so I don't know why, but growing up, I kind of always had a hunch that like getting pregnant with my babies was going to be hard. I like had struggled with like PCOS all through my like from a young age. So that wasn't a shocker to me. But then I got married in April of 2021, and then I kind of told my husband, I was like, I just have a hunch it's going to be hard. So we kind of like started trying towards the end of that year. And then we tried getting pregnant for like 9 months, and then we finally got pregnant with our son, and that was in May. We found out May of 2022, which is crazy that it's already been that long because I feel like it was like yesterday finding out we were pregnant and everything. We were shocked and so excited, but we like got pregnant completely on our own. And my pregnancy was honestly a dream, like dream pregnancy. I was just eating my way through pregnancy.
As you should.
Not sick at all, not nauseous at all, just like enjoying it, right? And it was so fun being pregnant with him. And kind of like halfway through that pregnancy, hindsight now, and as I like tell my story, but like it's so interesting to me because I thought it was like first mom first time mom, like, nervousness,
Mhm.
but I started to kind of, like, get really just, like, kinda started to get nervous. I kind of was worried something was gonna go wrong. Never did I ever fathom or think of, um, what actually happened to, like, be what happened. I just kind of thought that something was off during the pregnancy. Um, but I ended up going everything was healthy, he was healthy, and I had got into my due date, which actually was the 26th of January. So, like, 2 days ago.
Oh my goodness.
I know, but I'm glad to be talking about this now because his birthday's on Sunday. And so it's, like, such an honor to, like, be able to talk about it because, I, like, cannot tell the story and not cry. So I'm
No,
so
please.
sorry. But no, so I had passed my due date and, went in, for my routine, um, appointment, my OB appointment, and everything was fine, and it was January 31st. January 30th was my last OB appointment, so I was a couple days overdue, and you know how they are your first pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
They tell you, "Oh, like 41 weeks is normal," and I was, like, taking more of, like, a natural route, so I was prepared for that. Um, but he was a big baby. I'm only 5'4". He was 23 inches long
Oh my word.
and 10 pounds. So,
Oh
so big.
my word.
So big, and it was crazy, but I had gone into that appointment and I was like, "Please just induce me, like, my back hurts, everything hurts, like, let's just get this going," and so he's like, "Okay, like, we'll induce you tomorrow." So January 31st comes around and, um, everything is good. We keep getting the call that our induction gets pushed back and pushed back and pushed back and pushed back. And at this point, I haven't really suspected anything, but we, are just excited, and so we go in, we end up going in that night at
Sorry, you said the next day, so this is the day
the day
after.
after my OB appointment,
Okay.
because he was like I went in at, like, 4 p.m. and he was like, "We'll induce you tomorrow morning, 8 a.m."
Okay.
And so, yeah, we ended up going in that night at 11 p.m. We got the call that our bed was ready, and so we were so excited, and I feel like I just remember driving to the hospital and being like, Chandler and I were listening just, like, to our playlist that I had made, and I was like we were calling all of our family, like, "This is happening, we're so excited." Everything was great, and again, I hadn't suspected anything, like, I had no idea. And then we go in and, they took us I can't even remember if they took us to triage or if they just took us straight to our room. I think they took us straight back to our room, like, we checked in for our induction, and, we changed. The nurse came in to put the bands on my stomach and make sure everything was good, and that was when they were, like, trying to find his heartbeat, and they couldn't find it. And I, like, remember looking at my husband and being like, "There's no way. Like, there's no way," right? And he just kind of was like, "Yeah, like, everything's fine," because they can't tell you anything. So she and I had what is it called? Is it an interior placenta?
Mhm.
Yeah, so I had an interior placenta. So
But they're more like
yeah, and it was hard to feel him move regardless,
mhm.
and it was also not normal to not feel like, to find his heartbeat on the first try, like, even on a Doppler,
For those
like
who don't know, that means that the baby, like, typically, it goes skin, baby, placenta,
placenta. Mhm.
and it's backwards. So
Yes.
the baby's more, like, inside you.
Inside.
I
So
just had that for the first time with Dean, and it's
it's
very different.
and it's hard because you can't find it with the Doppler. It's
Yeah.
really hard.
Mhm.
And so that had happened and she was struggling and she'd even said she, like, looked at me and she's like, "I'm a new nurse. So let me just go get a charge nurse." And at this point I'm like, "There's no way. There's no way. Like, nothing's wrong." I'm, like, kind of in denial. And the charge nurse comes in and that was when I, like, felt like my heart just, like, drop because I just was like, "There's no way that everything was fine 24 hours ago, and now." And at this point too, I'm thinking, like, again, they can't tell you anything, and I'm, like, looking at my husband, and we're just, like like, tears are starting to fall, and they're like, "We gotta go get a doctor." And so in my mind, I'm like, "He's not dead." Like, in my mind, I'm like, they're gonna bring him back. And so they bring in, like, a ultrasound, and, um, a tech comes in, and the OB comes in, and I won't name drop my OB, but he's very well known, and his bedside manner is not that great. So,
I think I know exactly who it is.
yes. And so I mean, you can imagine too. It's just like, which he was really nice, and there's nothing anybody could do, but he comes in, and they're trying to find his heartbeat, and they're doing an ultrasound, and the ultrasound was just completely still. And it was like the most gut-wrenching moment of my life, but at the same time, like, everything just felt still in the room. And at this point too, no one had gone there. Like, it was just me and Chandler and um the nurses. And that's like when they told me, he looked at me and he goes, like, "I'm so sorry, but there's no heartbeat." And my first original reaction was like, I literally looked at him and was like, "Well, can you get it back?" Like, I never in my entire life had heard of anybody having a 41-week practically stillborn. Like, I'd never even really heard the term stillborn ever.
Mhm.
And not even throughout my pregnancy, like, no one mentioned that to me. Like, I didn't even know really what that was. I had known one other person that had had a stillborn, like, a couple years before me in my parents' ward, but, like, it was, like, 28 weeks, which is still awful, but I'd never heard it. You think
Yeah,
you're in the safe
41's yeah.
zone. You think you're in the safe zone after what, like 12 weeks usually? And so, yeah, they told me that, and I had to deliver. And that was another part that I didn't even think was even possible. And I literally asked him, I was like, "Can you just do a C-section? Like, I just want him out." Like, it was almost like all of a sudden it was like a disconnect of like my body. Like, I was so mad at myself and my body because I thought my body failed me and failed my baby. And I just wanted him out. Like, I didn't want to labor. I didn't want to do the natural again. I just wanted him out painlessly and like here and to see, like, because again, in my mind, like, even when I was going through labor, we end up calling all of our families and they come, and just like absolutely devastated. Also, this was like kind of still COVID.
Mhm.
So it was February. He was born on February 1st, 2023. And um our family comes, and they were technically allowed to be there. It was the time when it was only you and your
Mhm.
spouse. And they let all of our family come in, which was such a blessing, but they had to stay in our room. So my mom, my dad, my father-in-law, my mother-in-law, and my husband all in the room when I gave birth. That's a fun story. But hindsight now, I'm so grateful they were all there because it was like the only time anybody could see him. But like as I'm pushing out this 10-pound baby, I'm just still like praying in my head. I'm like, please, like, let him live. Like, I was like, maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's my placenta. Maybe he'll come out crying. Um, but he didn't. But like that, as angry and as much anger followed afterwards with God for doing this to me, even though I know that wasn't the case. That was like the one time in my life that I literally felt like, it sounds so cheesy, but I felt like the heavens opened and like people were helping me get this baby here. And I'll never forget those 8 hours we spent in the hospital with him. Um, but yeah, a beautiful baby boy. His name was Nash. And as hard as it is to like relive his story, and I like have moments now where he'll be 3. he would have been 3, and it's like, I can't even believe that I did that. Like, I'm like, I can't even fathom that I survived that, because who can survive the death of a child? It's, like, genuinely the worst thing, and I would literally not wish it upon anybody, and I hope no one has to go through it, but it really puts, like, perspective into your life, and even though in those moments afterwards and the months that followed afterwards, which we'll dive into too, but, like, I mean, finding purpose was, like, impossible, and not having, like, any other. I think that's the most thing I was angry to, like, after I was trying to search for moms that had been through what I went through, and I wanted to find moms that had been through what I went through without, like, not having anything else to go home to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I had met moms that had, like, other kids, which I can't even imagine, that's a whole 'nother thing, you know? But I wanted to find moms that, like, had the same exact thing where it's like, "This is your first baby." Not that it's any more devastating, it's just devastating in general, but to
It's
go
different, yeah.
for sure. Like, to go home to, like, a room that you prepared or all the baby shower gifts and, like, you know what I mean? Everything that's out, and I kind of had a little bit of, like, a bitter approach. I know some people don't want people to touch things, but I wanted it all away. Like, I didn't wanna see it. And I was so nervous, like, to go home afterwards, but he is a huge part of my life and a huge part of my story, and I don't get to talk about him very often, and so I'm grateful to be talking about him, and I'm even more grateful to be talking about him, like, not that this will come out beforehand, but, like, days before his birthday, so I really appreciate being able to
Ugh.
share my story.
Which this has been like, I think I asked you to come on the podcast like 6 months ago,
I know.
like a long
It
time
was
ago.
perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
It really was. But that was kind of like my intro to motherhood. And then after that, the months that followed, this is where it kind of gets like there's a lot of layers, because I'm like devastated. I'm depressed, as you can imagine. I like literally, in the most non-morbid way, I have never struggled with my mental health, and I wouldn't even say it was my mental health. I like literally just straight up did not want to be here. Like, I would tell my husband every day, I just want to be where Nash is, and he's like, "Do I have to worry about you?" And I'm like, "No. I just am pissed." Like, it was anger. I was
Yeah.
so angry. I was so angry, and it was so hard because my husband was really turning into to the church, was turning into Christ, was turning to Heavenly Father for peace and comfort, and I was like the opposite. And
Mhm.
so we have these two divides, and I just was like, yeah, I was so angry.
Which
I
I'm
was
sure, so the things that he's saying isn't what you wanna hear,
No,
when you're both, like,
not at all.
turning differently.
Not at all. And that was the thing too. We were surrounded, though. I'm not even kidding you. I had, like, when people say that they felt like prayers holding them up, like, even though I was in a devastated anger state, I literally felt like the only way I could describe getting through that was prayers holding me up from people that I, at the time, didn't even know. Like, we had just moved into our house, and we'd gone to the ward, like, maybe twice before I had NASH, and, like, our entire ward, like, I can't even remember everything because I think it was my way of coping, like, my trauma.
Mhm.
But, like, I remember getting home from the hospital, and my entire house, like, entryway, dining room table, was covered in, like, baskets, flowers, like, frozen meals, and, like, candles, blankets, like, literally so much. I, like, have pictures of it, and I'm so glad my sister-in-law took pictures of it, because, um, it was, like, crazy. Like, these people who don't even know me just filling my house with things that would bring us comfort, and being surrounded by family was just so helpful. And we had, like, literally my sister-in-law, my brother-in-law, my husband's sister, they, like, moved in with us for a month to, like, be there for us, because that was also hard. Like, I wanted to be alone,
Right.
and Chandler needed people.
Mhm.
in hindsight now, like, I also needed people because when they, when we took the whole month of February off, and then when March rolled around and kind of reality had to go back, and I went back to work and they all had to go back to work, it was like almost like reliving it again because it was like, oh, now we're alone, you know?
Yeah.
And then I instantly went into, and this is again kind of where we're different. I was like, I need another baby, which is not how you grieve. But for me, that was like the only thing I could think of to like mend my heart from NASH was that I needed to have another baby. And a lot of people feel like that, I found, because I kind of felt guilty for feeling like that. And
Because it's not like, Nash is still your baby.
Nash is still my baby.
And it's
He's
not a
always going to
replacement,
count,
yeah.
and it's never going to be a replacement. But it was almost like, and I still fight it now
Mhm.
because even now, sometimes, like, for the first 18 months after he was born and after he passed, it was like a fighting with myself to like let myself be happy, but it felt wrong. It felt wrong to be happy. I think a lot of people feel that way in grief, like that you can't let yourself be happy. And it was like my husband telling me, but like Nash wants you to be happy. Like he wants you to move forward. I hate when people say move on, but like you have to move forward because they're there. Like they're cheering you on. You can't see them, you know? But after Nash passed, I started kind of respiraling and like putting all of my energy into um fertility appointments, even though I didn't necessarily need them. I just like could not fathom. I wanted to get pregnant like right away. Like everyone I had talked to and met up with had gotten pregnant like 6 weeks postpartum. And I was like fully thinking that was going to be me. Like, Heavenly Father took my baby, he's going to give me another one. Like that was my thought process.
Yeah.
And
Because you took 9 months to get pregnant with Nash.
yeah, and I did not want it to take that long again.
Yeah.
I was really hoping it wouldn't, but it did. It took 10. It took 10, and during those 10 months, I did like 5 IUIs. I did Clomid, I did Letrozole, I did everything you can think of under the sun besides IVF, and nothing happened. So then in May, this is kind of where I'm like, I don't really know how to tell this because it's just a lot. It's like a
For it.
lot. But like in May, I ended up, one of my friends that had brought me dinner when Nash passed, her husband is a commercial real estate agent. And I had like told him, I think she came in March. So I was like a little bit more coherent at this point. And I had told him, like, I'm a morbid joke griefer, I've learned.
Got it.
It's so weird because I'm not like that normally, but like I felt like the only way I could like feel normal was like making a morbid joke. So I told him, I was like, now that I'm like not a mom, which is not true, and that makes me sad to even say, but I literally was like, if you ever find a place that I can open a salon, I got to put my time to something or I'm going to lose my mind. And so he called me like in May. So a couple months had passed and he was like, I found a spot like exactly like you said, and I think you should do it. And so we ended up starting our salon. So me and Chandler, it was already previously a salon, but me and Chandler spent every minute there, which was so good for us. Like it got us out of our house. We painted everything. We demoed everything. Like we literally lived there and still going through our infertility stuff and still doing all of our treatments, but we spent every minute renovating this salon. And we get in there, we open November 1st. So like exactly 9 months from when I had NASH, which I thought was like cool too. Cause I was like, it was like exactly like we opened right on that day. And so that was, and I named it Kaya Salon, which stands for Come As You Are. And I named it that because I just had so many good people in my life. Like I feel like my career has like, I'm really lucky because it makes me feel like I'm making friends with everybody. And all of my clients after NASH were just like genuinely amazing. And I had so many days, as you can imagine, so many days when I went back to work that I would just be like literally foiling and sobbing, like just completely sobbing about like my life and like how am I getting through it? And that was why I named it what I named it, because I just believe in that. Like we get to just come as we are. Cheesy, but
I
it
love
meant
it.
something to me. And so we opened it November 1st, and I ended up getting pregnant at the end of that month.
1 month after you opened it.
Isn't that crazy? So then I'm like, naturally, by the way, like completely naturally, we were about to start IVF in December, and I took a month off and I get pregnant. It always goes that way. It's so annoying. You spend thousands of dollars, and then that's how it works out. But that's how it worked out. And so we find out we're pregnant in December. And the first week of December, we were like in New York for my birthday. And I literally found out on my, like, it's so crazy because I just felt like that whole time, I felt like God couldn't have cared less about me. Like, I just kind of felt, but it's like now that I'm 3 years out, I'm like, his hand was like so in my life and like so there. Like, everything has happened for a reason. And I feel that's another thing I felt kind of bad saying because not that Nash died for a reason. Like, I'm not saying that that is what changed like the trajectory of my life, but I just have felt like I felt God's hand lead my life, and it just in weird coincidences like that. And so we find out we're pregnant, and then I was still, so it's December. So at this point it's been like what, 10 months from when Nash passed away, and Christmas was coming up, and I was dreading Christmas. I was literally dreading it. So me and Chandler decided to go on a cruise, and we went on a cruise over Christmas. And at this point, we haven't had an ultrasound yet. We just know we're pregnant. And on this cruise, I had like the most vivid dream that I was having twins. And like ultrasound, finding out it's twins, like same dream, copy paste in my brain. And I like woke up and I told him about it. And I was like, there's no way that there's two. Like, I've been struggling.
Mhm.
It happened naturally.
Well, and it's the month that you were off of the fertility stuff.
Yes. So it's like all of the things.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm like, there's no way. Like, we're just pregnant. It is what it is. So then we go in January 2nd to the OB, and literally it was twins. I was, I was like, I've never also felt like God talks to me in dreams. You know, those people that like,
No, yeah.
it's like a gift. My
Mhm.
grandma was one of those. Like, my grandma I would always, before she passed away, actually recently, I told her, I was like, you got any dreams for me? Like, when I was in my grief with Nash, she's like, anything, like, give me anything. And she's like, no, but like, you're going to be okay. And so she ended up passing away in January, but I got to tell her that I was having twins, which was so cool. I could not believe it. And yeah, twin girls. Crazy.
Crazy.
So crazy. And it felt like such a gift. And again, it's like, it's hard to explain because I don't want to say it's like Nash had to die so that I could have two babies. Like, who knows?
Right.
But I felt like he was advocating for me. Like, come on, like, just send her two.
Just give her
Just
2.
give her two.
Just give her.
Like, she's been through the ringer. Just send her two. Just send my mom two. And that was like kind of how I felt the whole time. And so, miracles. Like, Nash was a miracle. Not in the way that I wanted him to be, but like he was. And like he led my life to be completely different than what it was going to be. And then, the twins, like an absolute miracle. And then just kind of like, and this part too, like I don't know, I didn't know if I wanted to touch on it, but it's like, and it's part of our story. So we find out we're having twins, and then my brother passes away. I don't know if you knew that.
Mm-mm.
And that was another hard moment that I just was like,
What else?
what else? Like, what else can one family take? But I have just felt so much peace since then. Like, and now, like, knowing that our people are on the other side together and like rooting us on. and truly like guiding us in the direction I feel like that we need to be. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
bringing us closer to God. I almost feel like I don't know. I don't even know what's actually taught, but in my brain, I feel like our people are like advocating for us too. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
For like our blessings and like things that are happening in our lives. And as now, like I said, now that it's been a couple years and like life is going good, I feel like so grateful for all of the trials that my family's been through, from losing my baby, from losing my brother, from a lot of loss and grief. It's brought like a whole new perspective on life and motherhood for me. I feel like it's made me a better mom now, because two 18-month olds, hard.
Hard. One 18-month-old is hard.
One 18-month
So
old,
I
hard.
yeah.
But two, crazy. But I've, when I have moments of like feeling frustrated, I like always take a deep breath and I'm like, I am so grateful that they're here. And I think that is the biggest takeaway that having Nash has given me, is that life is a gift. Same thing with my brother. Like life is a gift. And it is literally our gift from God to be on this earth. And I'm grateful now to like not have ever taken that for granted. And I feel like even now going into this next, I think we're the same age.
I'm 26.
Oh, just okay, I'm 27. So we're like close enough. But I feel like it's like we're like, I don't want to ever not be present,
Yeah.
because I feel like you just never know,
Mhm.
you know?
Especially in this phase of life.
Yeah. And it's, me and my husband joke all the time that we have so many issues. Like we have so many like parental issues. Like our girl, one, like today, the girls are coughing. I'm like my husband automatically thinks like the worst case scenario, because we're terrified of like ever going through grief like how we have ever again, which is natural. But it's just like made us so aware of really how much of a blessing it is to like that we get to be with our family forever, but also like that we have time here,
Mhm.
with them. So that's my story. It's heavy.
But it's a good one.
It is a good one. It's good. And it's so, it feels so good to be able to talk about it, because there was a long time that I felt like I couldn't.
Yeah.
But it's the only way that I get to share him, you know? And so I'm grateful for that.
Isn't that kind of cool that like the only way that Nash lives on is like through you?
Yeah, there's like a lot of people sent me stuff after, but I think one of the things was like, you carry, have you heard that? Like you carry something,
Their DNA.
yes, forever
Mhm.
in us. And like what a calling that is. Like I don't know. I feel, like I said, I feel such a love towards motherhood. Every mom loves being a mom, I hope. I hope every mom loves being a mom. But like I feel, after I lost Nash, this is kind of a crazy scenario too. But after I lost Nash, I feel like it was like this eye-opening, excruciating pain, but like a little bit of a glimpse of how I feel like our heavenly parents feel towards us, because it was soul crushing. And I think about that all the time now. Like I think about that love. I think you become a parent though, and you're like, oh, like I get it now. Like it's
Mhm.
like everything makes sense because of all this love you feel. And yeah, I feel like it's just strengthened so much, like my relationship with God and with my relationships with my family. Like it's just put so much into perspective about how important it is to live like Christ. I know that sounds so cheesy, but like to just like that nothing else really matters, you know? None of the material stuff matters. Like it just comes down to literally like who we are and like our family and what we want for our family and what our main goal is in life, you know, which is to one day like raise my baby in heaven. That's what I believe.
Uh, and, ugh.
And I can't wait for that day. Now I can, but yeah,
Yeah, not
now I'm
three
like,
baby.
now I can wait. Now that I got my girls and I'm like, I don't necessarily need that to hurry up right now, but I'm excited for that day. And like, yeah, like I'm excited for what's to come. And I've felt like I've had a lot of like spiritual moments that I've felt Nash, and I don't take those lightly, you know? And I'm like grateful that we get to feel those things and feel close um to our loved ones.
So, one, I just want to say that you've like presented this beautifully and with such
Yeah.
grace that people might sound like this has been easy for you, and it isn't.
Yeah.
And this is something that you're going to continue living through it, right? It doesn't go away.
Nope.
Nash will be 3 on Sunday.
On Sunday. And like full transparency, like I'm glad you said that because I was just talking to today was a hard day, right? I feel like this time of year my body goes into like I'm also shocked I was able to present that so well because
It was beautiful.
I like full transparency. It's almost like my body is reliving this week. This is what happened last year. It's a year that happened before that. Like it's like it remembers. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but
Seasonal.
it is. And so it's almost like my brain too is like, oh, this time 3 years ago, this is what you were doing. Like I just remember. And I actually didn't even share this. I forgot. So like this time, literally last year, so I don't journal, but I sometimes will like write things down in my notes. And I remember this time 3 years ago, everything is fine. And I'm driving in my car. Like, I can't even remember where I was going, but I remember where I was. I was literally driving. It was like a mile from my house. And I had this thought dawn in on me. And it was like, you're going to lose your baby. And I had to like, it was like role playing in my head what happened. Like, it was role playing in my head to the point that I'm driving and I'm crying. And then I kind of had this like moment where I was like, why am I thinking like this? I don't know. Do you ever have those moments
No, yeah.
where
I'm a
you,
worst case scenario type of person.
okay, yeah. And, or when you get in a fight with somebody and you wish you would have said something and
Like
then you role
it's
play it in
like
your head.
imagining so vividly that like,
Yes.
yeah,
I do that very
constantly.
often. And so it was one of those things that it happened and I'm driving and I remember being like, you know what? Why are you thinking like this? Nothing's going to happen. See, this is another thing. You might have to edit this back in because I forgot this part too. So before, like when I was 38 weeks pregnant with Nash, I went in for a scare. I thought that something was wrong after work one day. He wasn't moving. And I went in, everything was fine. He was fine. And then this situation happened like a week later. And I was like, there's no way. Like, I just went in. He's fine. I'm going in next week. I'm going to deliver him. Like, he's fine. Everything's fine. It was almost like I had to talk myself out of it. And then I like go into that OB appointment. And this is something too that I've been on a podcast before and I've talked about it and I didn't share it because I was still too fresh. It was still too fresh. But like even my OB, who you know who it is. So it's like even my OB, like I remember that appointment before I had gone into the hospital that he had like done the Doppler, he had found the heartbeat, and I like had the impression to ask him to check again, and I didn't. And I held that over myself for a really long time. But I also now give myself grace that I was just a first time mom and like doctors know best.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I also don't think I said the reason how he died, but it was the cord.
Oh.
The cord was wrapped around his neck like 4 times. And then when I found that out too, I felt like it all made sense because a cord doesn't wrap around 4 times overnight. Like I felt like it was something that had like gradually happened. But where I'm going with this is that I felt like God was trying to prepare me And it was always going to be that way. Like, I truly believe that. I feel like when it's someone's time to go, they're going to go. How they go, I don't know. And who knows? Maybe if I would have had him a day sooner, we would have gotten one day. But I feel like if he was meant to go, he was going to go. But those were just like moments that I felt like God was giving me, like, you know, like
He was
a
aware
little
of
bit of
you.
grace
Yeah.
of like, hey, this is coming, and was like aware of me, you know? I'm sorry, I forgot what you asked me and where I was
I
going
don't
with
remember either. No clue.
that. Sorry, I'm like all over the place.
No, it's awesome.
But yeah.
So now, how do you connect with Nash? Because you have two little girls
Mm-hmm.
and they have a big brother.
Mm-hmm. And one of my daughters, Rowan, looks exactly like him. Like, it was like crazy when I had her, because I like looked at her and I was like, oh my gosh, that is like just almost like a spitting image, like face, nose, everything, and skin color, eyes, or like hair color. But um I I feel him more than anything. And like I said, there's just been like small moments of like, I feel like Nash is proud of me. Like, when I opened my salon, I remember driving home the night before we opened and like everything was done. And I like called my husband, bawling my eyes out, because I was like, I feel him like telling me he's proud of me. When I had the girls, I felt him like know that he was like everything was going to be okay, because they were in the NICU for a while. And so they were just born early, but I felt that like he was there, and he's their big brother, and I can't wait for when they start talking more, because they already will. Like, I have pictures of him in our house, and they like know that that's Nash. Like, they'll say his name, and it's been like so healing to hear that. But I truly believe that little kids have a way of like being able to like notice things. And I had heard like stories of like people having their kids like talk about a loved one that has passed. And I can't wait for that for them. Like, I hope that they grow up always knowing about him, and knowing that they have somebody cheering them on, and like that they have like an angel watching over them, Like, it's really beautiful, and something that I don't like. We all have angels watching over us, but how special that they have like a big brother looking out for them. And I also think about him like, we want more kids, but I also think about him like being with my other kids, or that they came down like literally from him, like that they know each other. And I think that's so cool. But I felt him a lot more in motherhood, and just in like, they're in the same room that he was in, and I had even had like, that room is just like the most peaceful room you could sit in. A lot of tears were shed on that floor, as you can imagine. A lot of time, a lot of months spent sobbing on that nursery floor. But now it is like, even still with them, it's like I just feel so much peace in that single room in my house. And like, the fact that that's also like now their room, I'm like, I hope they always feel that there too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So sadly, we know this about our time here on this earth, in this earthly lifetime. Grief is inevitable,
Mm-hmm.
in one way or another. What would you say to moms that maybe are going through different forms of grief,
Mm-hmm.
and how to not let it like take over your life? Because there's obviously, just in your story, there's been a shift of when you were angry at God
Mm-hmm.
to now you recognize that he was there.
Mm-hmm.
Was that a gradual thing?
Oh, yeah, 100%. I feel like it was so gradual, and it took a lot of, and it was so hard, because when I had met with moms who had gone through what I had gone through, or had just lost in general, they would all say, I would, you just want to know, like, how can I make this stop hurting as bad as it's hurting? Like, you just want to know when it stops. And the truth is that it never stops. But with time, it gets a little bit easier to bear. And kind of like to that note, I think what we were talking about too, but like you're never not grieving. I think I kind of struggle with that now because sometimes like people will say things or be a little bit insensitive and think that you're over it,
Right.
but you never are over it. No mom in any stage of grief is ever over it. I have had moments where I am so happy and life is good, and then all of a sudden I just think like, I don't know, like I should have a 2-year-old like this, or I should have a 3-year-old, and I'm like sobbing in seconds because it's something you have to learn how to live with, and I think I said it earlier, but you're never moving on from your lost child. You're trying to figure out how to move forward with them
Mm.
and including them. And I will include him as much as I can. For Christmas, we have a stocking for him. Like I never don't want to include him. But it is a hard transition because especially now that it's been 3 years, it's like, for example, like in my job, when I do a new person's hair, it's like they ask me how many kids do I have? And I like have a second in my brain to decide, am I going to go into my entire life story right now or am I not? And I've kind of learned too now to like give myself grace with that. Like it's okay to say that I have 2 kids or it's okay to say that I have 3 kids. And I love when I meet people like in Costco and they'll make a comment about like, how do you have 2 kids? And I'm like, oh, I have 3. And they like don't harp on it. Like, cause like I love moments like that I can like count him, but I've also had to give myself some grace that it's like I don't have to necessarily divulge
Yeah.
everything all the time. Like I feel like the answer to your question, like it's just you have to like learn to give yourself grace. And that Nash isn't mad at me when I say I only have 2 kids. Like that's not a thing, you know? And that yeah, grace and moving forward and just allowing yourself to feel when you need to feel, but then also realizing it's okay to be happy again is okay. But it does take time. It's like the worst answer anyone can give you to grief, but it is just like time heals the wounds. Not fully, but like enough
Mhm.
to get going again.
Yeah. Because you still have a life to live.
Mm-hmm.
A life to live knowing Nash. Like your life is so different. You still know him,
Mm-hmm.
and you're learning to know him better. Well, thank you. I feel so so happy that it's close to his birthday.
I know.
Happy birthday, Nash.
Happy birthday, Nash.
Uh,
It's so special, really, though, because yeah, what a good way to like celebrate him. I always think about that. Like, I've always kind of struggled like figuring out how to honor him. And so I'm grateful for any time I get to like honor him and tell his story because he made a big impact on not just me, but like a ton of people. And our story has been shared now to people who have also lost babies. And it's allowed me to connect to people and like truly become like a better version of myself because of that, of the trial of not having him here. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for the connections that it's brought. It's brought a lot of new friendships of that I never would have ever met. And I would like, when you don't want to meet on those circumstances, but just the ability to like, yeah, relate and know a little sliver of what someone else is going through is amazing. So
thank you for being vulnerable and sharing that with us and helping us to know Nash a little bit.
thank you for having me.
This has been From Broken to Blessed. We'll see you next week.